Here with Ian Matthews, seriously one of the most solid people I know and veteran at Bellator. How you doing?
I'm good, man. Thank you. It's good to have you guys out here. I'm pumped.
When did you get started training? You've been training for a while, and you do a lot of things. I know you're good at jiu-jitsu. You've had some, kickboxing, Muay Thai fights. How'd you get started?
Well, I was a knucklehead when I was younger, and I didn't know it, but my mom was kicking me out of the house at the age of 14. My older brother came out, but it was like a normal summer, you know. She was like, oh, he's just coming out. And then when he was going back home, she was like, oh, you're actually going with your brother. So I moved from South Dakota out to San Diego with my older brother, and he didn't really let me do anything. And every week we would have to train. We would just train. So he showed me some videos of Sakuraba and Pride, and I kind of enjoyed it. I was getting into fights anyways, so I figured, better to learn about this, And so at the age of 14, I started doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
And that's B-Dub, Brian Whitaker, right?
Yep, El Gato.
Yeah, and he was training under Roy Harris. Is that true?
Yes. Now he's a first or second degree black belt under Roy. Maybe just first. Yeah.
And he's like working for NASA. Got his PhD in math or something crazy.
Yeah, dude is an astronaut. Applied math, I believe, was his degree, but he got his. I think he got his master's, and now he's working on his doctorate. But yeah,
someone that knows how to break things down, learn, and teach something technical like jiu-jitsu. So, how did that translate to you getting into the fight game?
Yeah, that was everything really. I had been training for a few years, and when Bellator was first about to happen, some of my training partners, I won't name any names, but they were involved with Bellator from the very beginning. And I was working 2 retail jobs in North County, San Diego, and they called me and said that they would be needing some help. And I quit both of those jobs that day and just started working for one of the first matchmakers for Bellator. And yeah, that was my first start.
And now Bellator's worldwide. I mean, you're here in LA today, but you've been tons of countries. I know you've probably filled up a couple passports. Where have you been, and where's Bellator going now?
Yeah, so I've been to London, Scotland, Italy, Israel. I don't know, maybe a couple other places. But this year we're going to Russia. We just announced Russia, London. I want to say we're going to one other place in Europe, and then maybe Japan again. It's always possible. Hawaii. Yeah.
And you were training in North County, San Diego, and I know that San Diego, LA, and Orange County are kind of the hotbed for jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai, and martial arts, and I think Bellator is a big part of that. I know, UFC is primarily based in Las Vegas now, but Bellator is like the fighters promotion. I mean, they're friendly to the fighters. They help promote the guys. They are flexible with their sponsorships. They allow them to, still have the banner and the shorts with the sponsors. And the promotion's actually run by fighters. You have a lot of islanders with the warrior culture and people that actually train. I mean, isn't there a big difference between, say, someone who trains and maybe some rich kid who doesn't train, had everything handed to him? I mean, there's something about the struggle of martial arts that sort of develops the character of the person, and I feel that that's what's happening here at Bellator.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, there's a lot of us that train, still train to this day. It's cool. So at the end of the day, you can go and hit pads with somebody that you're working with, and they understand just as much as you do how nice it feels to let off some of that steam and aggression that you might have built up over the 12-hour workday or whatever, And I would say the difference is, everybody, you can kind of tell that there's just a mutual respect amongst others that train, and understand that discipline, and they can look at fights in a totally different way than somebody that hasn't trained at all. You know what I mean? Yeah, so.
And you guys are going to London and Russia after this, right? So I mean, despite COVID, the show must go on. And like a fighter, you guys are going to find a way to keep it going and bring the locals and bring the fans and the fighters out to the show and watching online and stuff.
Yeah, even last year, I believe it was September and October, we went and created a bubble over in Milan, and we did, I think it was 3 or 4 shows in like 11 days, and then we flew over to Paris, made a bubble there, and did the first legal MMA event ever in France, or at least Paris, I want to say. So yeah, 100% the show must go on. We got guys on contract that need fights, and at the time they couldn't travel over here, so we had to go over there and create a bubble and make it happen. Yeah.
Cool. And where do we find you, Mr. Ian Matthews?
MBSOUPINC on everything. Instagram, Twitter, blah 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 blah. MB Soup Inc.
My man, thank you, sir. Good to see you, brother.
Good to see you guys.
Yeah, man.